Peppa Pig, Peppa's pen pal. Peppa and her friends are at playgroup. "Who would like a pen pal?" says Madame Gazelle. "What is a pen pal?" asks Peppa. "A pen pal is someone you can write letters to," says Madame Gazelle. Everybody cheers. They would all like a pen pal. Madame Gazelle shows Peppa a picture of a little girl who lives in France.
Wow!
Her name is Delphine Donkey. "Can Delphine be my pen pal?" asks Peppa. "Of course, Peppa," replies Madame Gazelle.
Hooray!
One morning, Peppa receives a letter from Delphine. It is in French. "I want to speak French to Delphine," says Peppa. Delphine's phone number is on the letter, so Peppa calls her. Mummy Pig tells Peppa that bonjour means hello in French. "Bonjour," says Peppa. "Bonjour, Peppa," replies Delphine. "Bye," says Peppa. "Au revoir," whispers Mummy Pig. "Au revoir," says Peppa. The next week, Peppa is disappointed because there is no letter from Delphine. "Sorry, Peppa," says Daddy Pig. Just then, the doorbell rings. "I wonder who that could be," says Mummy Pig. "Bonjour, I have come to see Peppa." It's Delphine. "Bonjour," squeals Peppa. Delphine introduces Peppa to her family. "Bonjour," says Madame and Monsieur Donkey. Delphine has a little brother. His name is Didier.
Wow!
"Dinosaur," says George. "Dragon," replies Didier. "Delphine, we could jump up and down in muddy puddles," suggests Peppa. But Delphine does not understand Peppa. "Oh no!" "J'adore sauter dans le flax de bouc," says Delphine. But Peppa does not understand Delphine. "Oh no!" "Everything is so different in French," says Peppa. Delphine holds Peppa's hand. Peppa runs along with her. It looks like they're running towards a big muddy puddle. "J'adore sauter dans la flaque de boue," says Delphine again. Delphine jumps right into the muddy puddle. "That's what I was going to show you," cries Peppa, joining in. Peppa and Delphine had been saying the same thing all along.
Wow!
"We call it jumping up and down in muddy puddles," explains Peppa. "J'adore jumping up and down in muddy puddles," says Delphine, laughing. Everyone loves jumping up and down in muddy puddles. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa learns French. The phone rings at Peppa's house. It is Monsieur Donkey. He is speaking French. Luckily, Mummy Pig can speak French.
Wow!
He asked if little Delphine Donkey could visit us, says Mummy Pig. Delphine is Peppa's pen pal. Peppa and her family arrive at the railway station. "That's Delphine's train," says Peppa excitedly. "Last stop, all change, terminus, tout le monde descend," shouts Miss Rabbit, the train driver. Delphine gets off the train. Monsieur Donkey gets off too. He is carrying an enormous case. "Hello, Delphine," says Peppa. "Bonjour, Peppa," says Delphine Donkey. Peppa, bonjour means hello in French, says Mummy Pig. Monsieur Donkey drops the enormous case on the ground. "Bonjour, Monsieur Donkey," says Daddy Pig. "My goodness, is that huge case Delphine's?" "Yes, Delphine has brought a few little things for her visit," says Monsieur Donkey. "Things you do not have over here. Cheese, bread, tomatoes." Monsieur Donkey loads the huge case on top of Peppa's car. It is very heavy. "Au revoir, Delphine. I will be back to pick you up tomorrow night," says Monsieur Donkey. "Au revoir, Papa," says Delphine. Peppa, "Au revoir means goodbye in French," explains Mummy Pig.
Wow.
After dinner, it's time to go to bed. Peppa and Delphine want to share a bed. "Good night, little ones," says Daddy Pig. "Dormez bien," whispers Mummy Pig. Peppa, "Dormez bien" means sleep well in French. Peppa and Delphine can't sleep. "I'm not sleepy at all," says Peppa. "Let's sing a little song to make us sleepy," says Delphine. Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonne les matines, ding dang dong, sings Delphine. Delphine's French song has sent Peppa and George to sleep. The next day, Delphine visits Peppa's playgroup. "Madame Gazelle, this is my French friend Delphine," says Peppa. "She sang a French song last night. Can we teach her an English song?" "How about the Bing Bong song?" suggests Danny Dog. Madame Gazelle plays her guitar. "Oh, we're playing a tune, and we're singing a song, with a bing and a bong and a bing. Bong, bing, boo, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bingly, bongly, boo," sings Madame Gazelle. "Bong, bing, boo, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bingly, bungly, boo," sing the children. Delphine has learned lots of new English words. Bing, bong, bingly, bungly, and boo. The end. Peppa Pig, Delphine Donkey. This is Peppa's friend, Delphine Donkey.
Hooray!
Delphine lives in France.
Wow.
Peppa speaks English. Delphine speaks French. "Hello," says Peppa. "Bonjour," says Delphine. Delphine lives in a city called Paris. Peppa and her family like to go and visit. "Sometimes we travel on a train," says Peppa. "And sometimes we travel on a boat." Peppa and Delphine love exploring Paris together. They go to parks, jump in puddles and visit cafes.
Wow.
"Would you like a croissant?" asked Delphine. Says Peppa. "Yes, please." In the holidays, Delphine comes to stay at Peppa's house. They sleep at each end of Peppa's bunk bed. "I like sharing with you," says Delphine. Peppa has lots of fun with her friend Delphine. They don't see each other very often. But that makes it extra special when they do.
Hooray!
Peppa loves Delphine Donkey. Everyone loves Delphine Donkey. The end. Peppa Pig, George's tractor. Peppa and George were spending the day at Granny and Grandpa Pig's house. "We're very glad you're here," said Grandpa Pig. "You can help us harvest the vegetables."
Hooray!
"Hooray!" cheered Peppa and George, jumping up and down. "Grandpa, what does harvest the vegetables mean?" asked Peppa. "Ho, ho, ho, ho," Grandpa Pig chuckled. "When we harvest the vegetables, it means we pick them so we can eat them." "Ooh," said Peppa. "Yummy." "Yummy," said George, rubbing his tummy. "Let's go and harvest," said Granny Pig. "It's a good job we've got our boots on. It's very muddy out here." Peppa and George had lots of fun helping Granny and Grandpa Pig harvest their vegetables. Soon there were huge piles of vegetables all around them. "What a big harvest, Grandpa!" gasped Peppa. "Yes, it is, Peppa," replied Grandpa Pig. "The biggest we've had in a long time. Isn't that right, Granny Pig? Granny Pig, where are you?" Peppa, George and Grandpa Pig looked around. They couldn't see Granny Pig anywhere. "Over here!" shouted Granny Pig, poking her head out from a tall pile of carrots. "Ah, there you are," said Grandpa Pig, smiling. "Granny," said Peppa, "you look a bit carroty." George giggled. "Hee, Daddy eek." "Next, we need to get all these vegetables into the crates over there," said Grandpa Pig, pointing to the other side of the garden. "All the vegetables, Grandpa?" asked Peppa. "Yes," replied Grandpa Pig, "every single one." Everyone looked at the enormous pile of vegetables. "Oh," said Peppa. Peppa, Granny Pig and Grandpa Pig began carrying the vegetables over to the crates.
Wow!
The crates were far away. Peppa looked around. "Where's George?" "Tractor!" cried George. He loaded up his toy tractor's trailer with lots of vegetables and moved them over to the crates. "That's very clever, George," said Granny Pig. "Your tractor will make this much easier." Everyone helped George load and unload his tractor. "That's everything," said Grandpa Pig. "Thank you for your help, Farmer George and Farmer Peppa." "Tractor!" said George. "What are we going to do with all the vegetables now, Grandpa?" asked Peppa. "We can't eat them all, can we?" "No, Peppa, I don't think we can eat them all," replied Grandpa Pig. "I know a special place we can take them," said Granny Pig. "It's somewhere you and George will enjoy visiting."
Hooray!
"Yippee!" cried Peppa and George. Granny and Grandpa Pig took Peppa and George to a farmer's market.
Wow!
At a farmer's market, farmers and growers sell their fruits and vegetables, Granny Pig explained. George was excited to see all the big tractors. "Tractor!" he shouted. George spotted an enormous tractor and pointed. "Big tractor!" "Wow, that's the biggest tractor I've ever seen, George," said Granny Pig. While George and Granny Pig went to see the big tractor, Grandpa Pig and Peppa started setting up a stall for their vegetables. Suddenly they heard a loud rumbling noise. It was George on Mr. Badger's tractor, carrying all the crates of vegetables.
Wow, gasped Peppa. George is on a real tractor.
Big tractor!
cried George as everybody unloaded the crates.
Thank you, Farmer George, said Grandpa Pig. Now our vegetable stall is ready.
Hooray!
Farmer Pepper and Farmer George had lots of fun selling the vegetables.
Rebecca,
cried Peppa, spotting Rebecca Rabbit.
come and buy some of our vegetables.
Ooh, what a lot of lovely carrots, said Mummy Rabbit. How did you get them all here?
Woo, woo, big tractor!
said George. I see, said Mummy Rabbit. I would like to buy all your carrots, please. There were lots of customers at the farmer's market. Farmer Pepper, Farmer George, Granny and Grandpa Pig were very busy selling their vegetables. Hello, Farmer Peppa and Farmer George, said Daddy Pig.
Hello, Daddy,
said Peppa.
what would you like?
Said Daddy Pig, looking at the empty stall.
Oh,
said Peppa.
we don't have anything left.
Never mind, said Mummy Pig. It's time to go home now. What would you like for supper?
Carrots, please,
said Peppa. As you've sold all yours, we'll have to get some from the shop, said Mummy Pig. But how will we get there?
Woo, woo, tractor!
cried George. George loved the farmer's market, but he loved tractors even more.
Woo, woo, tractor!
George loves tractors. Everyone loves tractors. The end. Peppa at the petting farm. Peppa, George and Rebecca Rabbit are going to visit a petting farm.
Mummy,
Says Peppa.
what can we do there?
You can feed and stroke tiny little animals, replies Mummy Pig.
Ooh,
Gasped Rebecca.
I love tiny little animals.
Mrs. Badger is the farmer who looks after the tiny little animals.
Wow!
Before we see them, she says, there is one thing we have to do. Wash our hands,
Say Peppa and Rebecca.
That's right,
Says Mrs. Badger. The children go to see the chickens first.
Would you like to feed them?
Asks Mrs. Badger. Peppa, George and Rebecca each take a bag of birdseed.
Here, Ticky Tick,
Calls Peppa. Next, Mrs. Badger has a surprise for everyone.
Now, she says, who wants to hold a baby chick?
Me, 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 shout the children. Peppa giggles. The chicks are so fluffy and sweet. Soon it's time for the children to wash their hands again and go to see some other animals.
These are guinea pigs,
Says Mrs. Badger.
Ooh,
Cries Rebecca.
look at their cute faces. And their fluffy little bodies.
Says Peppa.
Guinea pigs make excellent pets.
Says Mrs. Badger.
Can we have a pet guinea pig?
Asks Peppa.
Please.
Daddy Pig frowns at Mummy Pig.
Look at the time, he says. We have to be getting home. Mommy Rabbit comes to collect Rebecca. She has brought the baby twins, Rosie and Robbie.
Baby rabbits are so cute, says Peppa. Please, can we cuddle them?
Mommy Rabbit nods. There is just one thing to do first. Now Peppa and Rebecca's hands are clean. They can cuddle the twins.
Have you had a nice time today? Asks Mummy Rabbit. Yes, laughs Peppa. We've had lots of cuddles.
Peppa loves a petting farm. Everyone loves a petting farm. The end. Peppa Pig. Read it yourself. School bus trip. Peppa and her friends are going on a school bus trip.
Hooray!
Is everyone here? Says Madame Gazelle. Yes, they say. Everyone loves school trips. Where are we going for our trip? Says Peppa. We are going to the mountains, says Madame Gazelle. Hooray! Everyone says. They all look out as they go. The bus is going to the top of a big mountain. It is very high up.
Wow!
Come on, bus, says Peppa. Up, up, up they go. The children sing a song as they go.
La, 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 la.
The bus gets to the top and everyone gets out. Come and look at the big mountains, says Madame Gazelle.
Wow!
Peppa looks at the mountains. She is very high up. Wow, she says. Everyone hears, wow, wow, wow. What was that? Says Peppa. That was an echo, says Madame Gazelle. It is what you hear when you call out up in the mountains. Come on, everyone, says Peppa. We can all make an echo. The children call out. Wow, they can hear. Wow, wow, wow. Everyone loves echoes. Come on, children, says Madame Gazelle. It is time for your picnic. Hooray, says everyone. Where are the ducks? Says Peppa. They love it when we have picnics too. Peppa and her friends look out for the ducks. Here come the ducks. Hooray, says Peppa. Quack, 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 say the ducks. Come here, ducks, says Madame Gazelle. Yes, come to our picnic, ducks, says Peppa. Then the ducks have a big picnic too. It is time to go back. Daddy Pig loses his glasses. First words with Peppa Pig, level 4. Meet Peppa, George, Mummy Pig, and Daddy Pig. Learn always, around, been, found, off, or, read, those, which, work, your. Read, bathroom, glasses, newspaper. Daddy Pig has glasses. He must put his glasses on, or he cannot see. If Daddy Pig does not put on his glasses, he cannot read. Daddy Pig has lost his glasses. He needs his glasses to read and to do his work. You always take off your glasses and then you cannot find them, Daddy, says Peppa. You will be sad until you have found those glasses, says Mummy Pig.
I am always sadder without my glasses, said Daddy Pig. I need them to read and to do my work.
Daddy Pig did not know where he took off his glasses. Which room have you been in? Asked Mummy Pig. Have you been here, Daddy? Asked Peppa.
I do not know which rooms I have been in, said Daddy Pig.
We will look all around until we have found which room you left those glasses in, said Peppa. It might be hard work. Daddy Pig takes off those glasses in lots of rooms, said Mummy Pig. Peppa and George went to look around. Peppa looked under the newspaper, but the glasses were not there. I have not found your glasses yet, said Peppa. George had a look around too. This was not the room in which Daddy Pig had left his glasses.
I might have been in the bathroom, said Daddy Pig.
Daddy always takes off his glasses in the bathroom, said Peppa.
But she did not find Daddy's glasses in the bathroom. He had not been there. George looked around the bathroom too. That was not where Daddy Pig took off his glasses. Looking for the glasses was hard work. We have looked around all of the rooms. We have not found your glasses. You did not take off your glasses here or in the bathroom, said Peppa. I do not know which room I left those glasses in. Now I cannot read or work, said Daddy Pig. If I walk around with no glasses, I always bump into things, said Daddy Pig. He got up.
Daddy, I have found your glasses. You took them off and then you sat on them, said Peppa.
Thank you for all your hard work looking around, said Daddy Pig.
You must not take off those glasses ever again, said Mummy Pig.
The end.
Peppa Pig. Peppa's painting. Peppa and George are going to do some painting. They lay out Daddy Pig's old newspaper. Hooray, let's start painting, says Peppa. Peppa grabs her paintbrush and dips it into the yellow paint. Then George puts his hands into the blue paint.
Wow!
Silly George, says Peppa. Big children do not put their hands in the paint. George loves painting with his hands. He prints his paint-covered hands all over the paper. Peppa loves painting with her hands too. Hee hee hee, Peppa giggles. She makes yellow patterns on her paper. Daddy Pig is holding half a potato. Watch this, he says. He dips it in paint and stamps it onto some paper. Who knows what I'm painting? Asked Daddy Pig. It's a flower, cries Peppa. Daddy Pig finds his old painting things to show Peppa and George.
Wow!
Why are you wearing that silly hat? Asked Peppa. It's my beret. It helps me paint, says Daddy Pig. I'm going to paint the cherry tree. Peppa and George watch Daddy Pig painting the cherry tree. What lovely green leaves, says Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig mixes green and red paint to make brown for the tree trunk and the branches.
Wow!
Can I paint the cherries? asked Peppa excitedly. Yes, Peppa, says Daddy Pig. Dip your finger in the paint and dot it on the tree. Peppa paints 3 red cherries. Well done, Peppa, says Daddy Pig. Now it is George's turn. What a great painter you are, George, says Daddy Pig. The painting is finished. Hooray! Says Peppa. All of a sudden, some ducks run over and splash into Daddy Pig's paint. Shoo! Naughty ducks! Shouts Peppa. Oh dear, the ducks have made tracks all over the garden and used up all the paint. Mummy Pig comes to see what all the noise is about. The ducks used up all our paint, says Peppa. But Mummy Pig spots something. The tracks in the garden make the grass all colourful. Hooray! Everyone cheers. Daddy Pig, your painting is perfect, says Mummy. Ho ho, I am an expert at painting, says Daddy. And so are the ducks, says Peppa. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's busy day. It is 7 o'clock. Move the big hand to the 12 and the little hand to the 7. At 7 o'clock in the morning, Peppa wakes up. Time to get up, George, cries Peppa. It is 8 o'clock. Move the big hand to the 12 and the little hand to the 8. At 8 o'clock, Peppa has breakfast. Yummy, says Peppa. Can I have some more, please? It is 9 o'clock. Move the big hand to the 12 and the little hand to the 9. At 9 o'clock, Peppa and George go to playgroup. Dinosaur, says George. It is 12 o'clock. Move the big hand to the 12 and the little hand to the 12. At 12 o'clock, Madame Gazelle takes everyone for a picnic lunch. I love picnics, says Peppa. It is 2 o'clock. Move the big hand to the 12 and the little hand to the 2. At 2 o'clock, Mammy and Daddy Pig pick up Peppa and George in their car. Toot toot! It is 3 o'clock. Move the big hand to the 12 and the little hand to the 3. At 3 o'clock, Peppa and George go to the playground. Swing time, shouts Peppa and Rebecca Rabbit. It's 6 o'clock. Move the big hand to the 12 and the little hand to the 6. At 6 o'clock, it's time for dinner. Pancakes, cheers Peppa. They're my favourite. It is 7 o'clock. Move the big hand to the 12 and the little hand to the 7. At 7 o'clock, Peppa and George get ready for bed. Time to scrub and brush, says Peppa. It is 8 o'clock. Move the big hand to the 12 and the little hand to the 8. At 8 o'clock,
It's bedtime. Mammy and Daddy Pig come in to say goodnight. But Peppa and George are fast asleep. The end. Peppa Pig and the Day at Snowy Mountain. Peppa and George wake up one day and look out the window. It's snowing! Hurrah! They can't wait to go outside. We'll go to Snowy Mountain, says Mummy Pig. But first you have to put on your hats and coats and mittens. Peppa and George are dressed and ready to go. Wait for Daddy Pig and me, says Mummy Pig. Snowy Mountain is fun, says Mummy Pig. We can go sledding and ice skating and skiing too. Daddy carries Peppa and George up the sledding hill. But they don't have a sled. Peppa has an idea. Whee! She says, a daddy sled. At the bottom of the hill is the skating rink.
Wow!
Let's skate, says Peppa. Peppa skates and falls and tries again. Mummy Pig helps. Peppa is skating.
Hooray!
Peppa helps George. He is a good skater. Everybody skates. That was fun, says Peppa. I'm ready for skiing. Peppa and George follow Mummy and Daddy Pig to the base of Snowy Mountain. What's that? asks Peppa. It's the ski lift, says Mummy. That's how we'll get to the top of the mountain. The ski lift takes them way up high. This is fun, says Peppa. She sings. In the air, in a chair, snow is falling everywhere. Flying high in a chair, flying high and high and high. It's very high, says Daddy. Daddy does not like heights. Don't look down, says Mummy. But Daddy does look down. He topples out of the ski lift. Where did Daddy Pig go? There you are, Daddy, says Peppa. You're a walking, talking snow daddy. Miss Rabbit runs a ski shop at the top of the mountain. Get your skis here, she calls. Mummy Pig, Daddy Pig, Peppa and George all get skis from Miss Rabbit. Madame Gazelle and Peppa's friends are all here. It's time to ski.
Hooray!
Danny Dog wants to ski all the way down the mountain. Oh no, says Madame Gazelle. Today we'll stick to the baby slope. Madame Gazelle shows everyone how to push off slowly to get started. Madame Gazelle is a very good skier.
Wow!
She shows everyone how she can ski fast. She can even jump.
Hooray!
It's Mummy Pig's turn. She has not skied for a very long time, but she remembers how. She doesn't want to ski down the baby slope. Mummy Pig pushes off down the mountain. Mummy Pig remembers how to ski, but she has forgotten how to stop. Stand back, she yells. She speeds down the mountain and past the shops. Oh no! How will she stop? Where is Mummy Pig? I see her, says Peppa. She's a walking, talking snow mummy. Skiing is fun. Everyone agrees. Let's go again, says Peppa. The end. Peppa Pig at the Zoo. Madame Gazelle is taking Peppa and her friends to the zoo for the day. Remember, children, today we will be meeting wild animals, she says. Ooh, cry the children. Don't worry, says Madame Gazelle. The wild animals will be safely behind fences. Roar! Ah! A lion has escaped! Cries Madame Gazelle. Hello, I'm Mr. Lion, the zookeeper. You've picked a good time to visit, says Mr. Lion. It's feeding time. Wow. Which animals live here? Asked Susie Sheep. They move very slowly and live to be very old, says Madame Gazelle. Not all animals eat vegetables, says Madame Gazelle. That's right, Madame Gazelle, says Mr. Lion, grinning. Yes, well, says Madame Gazelle, who lives here? Hello, says Mrs. Crocodile. I'm the keeper in charge of this part of the zoo. Penguins, they eat fish. Ah, a crocodile, cries Madame Gazelle. Look, there's my daddy. He's a keeper at the zoo too, cries Gerald Giraffe. Hello, says Mr. Giraffe. Can you guess what animals I look after? They fly and get all their food from flowers. What are they? asked Peppa. Look carefully at the flowers, says Mr. Giraffe. Flutter, flutter, flutter. Ooh, pretty butterflies, say the children. Thank you for showing us around the zoo, says Madame Gazelle. Hooray! All this talk about food has made me hungry. Me too, laughs Mr. Lion. It's our feeding time now. What's for lunch today, Mr. Lion? Asked Mrs. Crocodile. Can you guess? Roars Mr. Lion. Little picnics in boxes. Yummy! Says Peppa. The end. Peppa Pig. Away we go. On the road. There is a lot to do in Peppa's town. Daddy Pig, Mummy Pig, Peppa and George drive around town in their car. In the shop. Wow! Mr. Fox sells lots of fun things in his shop. Peppa would like to buy one of everything, please. At the construction site, Mr. Bull and his crew fix a pipe under the road. They dig the biggest hole that Peppa has ever seen. At the aquarium. The pig family visits the aquarium to see lots of different fish. Peppa wishes that she could swim like a fish. At the sports centre. Exercise is extra fun when you do it with friends. Peppa loves to jump on the trampoline. At the petting farm. Peppa wants to pet the fuzzy guinea pigs. Mrs. Badger tells Peppa she must wash her hands first. Inside the museum. The dinosaur room is George's favourite part of the museum. George likes to stomp and roar just like a dinosaur. At the pottery studio. Mrs. Zebra shows Peppa how to make a bowl out of clay. Peppa just wants to squish the clay between her fingers. After it rains, a children's festival is very muddy. Peppa likes to dance with her friends. Everyone loves muddy puddles. At home. Peppa thinks about more places she can visit tomorrow. But first, Peppa and George need to go to sleep. The end.
Peppa at the Beach. Peppa and her family are on holiday at Kylie Kangaroo's house. Today we're going to the beach, says Mr. Kangaroo. Yippee, cries Peppa. I love the beach. Mummy Pig helps the children put on their sun cream and life vests. Kylie gets out her surfboard. What do you do with that? asks Peppa. You lie on the board and the waves push you along, says Kylie. Come and see. Kylie shows Peppa how to surf. The tricky bit is catching the wave, she says. Ready, steady, now! Peppa and Kylie jump on their surfboards just in time. The wave carries them along. I can surf, laughs Peppa. George wants to go surfing, but the waves are getting too big. Is it time to go home now? Wonders Daddy Pig. Are you kidding? Says Mr. Kangaroo. These big waves are perfect for grown-ups. Mr. and Mrs. Kangaroo grab their surfboards. George and Daddy Pig are having a lovely time in the water. Crikey, gasps Mr. Kangaroo. There's a giant wave coming. Everyone on the beach shouts and waves at Daddy Pig, but he can't hear what they're saying. Ho, ho, ho. He chuckles. The giant wave gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It picks Daddy Pig up and carries him along. Whoa! George giggles, then holds out his arms. He is using Daddy Pig's tummy as a surfboard. George rides the wave all the way back to the beach. Hooray! What great balance, says Mr. Kangaroo. He's a natural surfer, agrees Mrs. Kangaroo. Peppa and Kylie giggle. George is the best. The end. Peppa Pig Stars. It is almost time for bed. Mummy Pig, Daddy Pig and Peppa are having mugs of hot milk. George comes running in wearing his spacesuit. George, why are you in that spacesuit? Asked Daddy. You should be in your pajamas. George loves everything to do with space. Clunk, clunk. Oh dear, George is trying to drink through his helmet. George, cries Peppa, take off your space helmet to drink your milk. Peppa takes George's helmet off. Slurp, slurp, brr. That's better. It's bedtime, little ones, calls Daddy Pig. Peppa and George are tucked up in bed. George likes to listen to his space mobile. Not space again, sighs Peppa. It's boring. Space isn't boring, Peppa. It's full of wonderful stars, smiles Daddy Pig. I can't see anything, says Peppa, looking out of the bedroom window. It's easier to see the stars outside, explains Daddy Pig. If you put your coats on, we could go and see. That one is the North Star, says Daddy Pig. Peppa sings a star song. North Star, are you near or are you far? Can we get there in the car? The stars are too far to get to by car, but they look closer through a telescope, replies Daddy Pig. Grandpa Pig has a telescope, says Mummy Pig. It's late, but we can drive to his house just this once. Peppa and George have arrived at Granny and Grandpa Pig's house. Mummy Pig rings the doorbell. What are you doing here? Asked Grandpa. Could we take a look through your telescope, please? Asked Mummy Pig. Very well, replies Grandpa. To the top of the house we go. Grandpa Pig's hobby is looking at the stars. Here she is, old Bess, says Grandpa Pig. Wow, gasped Peppa, seeing the telescope. Who's for the first look? Asked Grandpa. Me, shouts Peppa. It's the North Star, cries Peppa. We sailors use that star to find our way home, explains Grandpa Pig. Daddy used it to find his way here, Peppa adds, smiling. Now it's George's turn to look through the telescope. He can see a planet with rings. What else is in the sky? Asked Peppa. George can see the planet Saturn, says Grandpa. What is Saturn like? Cries Peppa. Saturn has rings made of rock and ice, and it is very, very cold, says Grandpa Pig. We could build a snowman, cries Peppa. Quick, look, Peppa, gasped Grandpa. It's a shooting star. You have to make a wish. I wish that when George is old enough to have his own rocket, he will take me into space, cheers Peppa happily. Grunts George. Everyone laughs. The end.
Peppa Pig, Zoe Zebra. This is Peppa's friend, Zoe Zebra. Zoe's daddy is the postman.
Wow.
Hello, Peppa, says Zoe. This letter is for you.
Hooray!
Thank you, Zoe, says Peppa. Zoe has twin baby sisters called Zaza and Zuzu. Zaza and Zuzu want to join in with the big girls' sleepover, says Zoe. Ah, says Peppa. They are so sweet and little. Zoe has a lovely princess outfit. She puts it on when Peppa comes to play. I'm Princess Zoe, says Zoe. Peppa snorts. And I am Princess Peppa. Zoe's mummy does pottery. Sometimes she lets Zoe and Peppa do pottery too.
Hooray!
Let's make teacups, says Peppa. Good idea, agrees Zoe. Peppa has lots of fun with her friend Zoe. Zoe's favourite thing is cuddling her toy monkey and having tea parties with Peppa.
Wow! Hooray!
Peppa loves Zoe Zebra. Everyone loves Zoe Zebra. The end. Peppa Pig, Pedro Pony. This is Peppa's friend, Pedro Pony. Pedro likes skateboarding. Come on, Peppa, shouts Pedro. Let's have a race. Peppa gets on her bicycle. Ready, steady, go, she says. Sometimes Pedro is a little bit shy. Sometimes Pedro is not shy at all. Peppa and Pedro are both in the school play.
Wow!
You are very good, Peppa tells Pedro. Almost as good as me. Pedro has a pet stick insect called Stephen. Hello, Stephen, giggles Peppa. A stick insect is an insect that looks like a stick. Pedro likes playing pirates. Arr! Calls Pirate Pedro. Who wants to help me guard some pirate treasure? We do! Shout Peppa and her friends. Peppa has lots of fun with her friend Pedro.
Hooray!
When he grows up, Pedro would like to be a superhero. But Peppa thinks Pedro is super already. Peppa loves Pedro Pony. Everyone loves Pedro Pony.
Hooray!
The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Song Contest. Peppa is in the music room at playgroup. I have a wonderful surprise for you children, says Madame Gazelle. We are going to put on a song contest.
Wow!
Ooh! Everyone gasps. I wonder what I should do for the song contest, says Peppa when she gets home. You love to sing and dance, says Mummy Pig. That's it, cries Peppa. I'll ask my friends to sing and dance with me.
Hooray!
Peppa, Susie Sheep and Lottie Llama are working on a song and dance routine for the contest. They've been practicing every day. I'm a little bit scared about singing and dancing in front of everyone. What if I'm too quiet? Says Peppa. But you're never too quiet, Peppa, says Susie. It's the night before the show. Mummy Pig and Peppa are making costumes. The stars are my favourite, says Peppa. You're all going to sparkle, says Mummy Pig. The show is about to begin. First up are Emily Elephant and Zoe Zebra with a whistling duet, announces Danny Dog. Emily and Zoe are the best whistlers in the playgroup. Next is DJ Freddie Fox, says Danny. Freddie plays some party tunes for everyone on his dad's disco equipment. Now it's time for the rock band Paws and Claws, cries Danny. Please welcome Mandy Mouse, Candy Cat and Rebecca Rabbit. Peppa, Susie and Lottie are up next. What if I forget our song, says Peppa. Don't worry, says Lottie. If you do, just look at us until you remember. Time for Peppa and the Performers, says Danny. Peppa forgets to be worried and sings at the top of her voice. Hooray! Because you all took part in the contest so well, says Madame Gazelle, I've decided that you are all winners. The Best Presenter Award goes to Danny Dog. Hooray! The Most Tuneful Award goes to Zoe and Emily, says Madame Gazelle. And the Most Technical Award goes to DJ Freddie Fox. Hooray! The Best Rhythm Award goes to Paws and Claws, Madame Gazelle continues. Hooray! And finally, the Loudest Song Award goes to Peppa and the Performers. Peppa loves song contests. Everyone loves song contests. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Magical Unicorn. One rainy day, Peppa invited Susie Sheep to her house to play. Hello, Susie, cried Peppa when she arrived. Let's play with my horse. Peppa introduced Susie to her toy horse. Susie, meet Horsey Twinkletoes. Horsey Twinkletoes, meet Susie. It's very nice to meet you. Miss Twinkletoes, said Susie politely. Peppa and Susie galloped off to Peppa's bedroom together. Giddy up, Horsey, shouted Peppa, racing around her room on Horsey Twinkletoes while Susie watched. Daddy Pig heard all the noise and came upstairs to see what was going on. We're playing horses, Daddy, cried Peppa. I see, said Daddy Pig, seeing Susie sitting quietly. Do you think perhaps it's Susie's turn, Peppa? Asked Daddy Pig. Yes, replied Peppa. Come on, Susie, you can ride Horsey Twinkletoes now. I don't want to play horses, sighed Susie. I want to play unicorns. Peppa thought for a moment. Well, Horsey Twinkletoes is a magic horse, she said. She can be a unicorn whenever she feels like it. Oh, said Susie. Okay. Susie pranced around the room on Horsey Twinkletoes. Let's brush her beautiful tail, said Peppa. But unicorns have rainbow tails, said Susie. Oh, said Peppa. That's okay. We can put coloured ribbons in it. What a good idea, said Daddy Pig. You do that while I get you both a snack. Now we can fly in the sky on our unicorn, cheered Peppa. But a unicorn has a horn to hold when you fly, said Susie. Horsey Twinkletoes doesn't have a horn. Oh, said Peppa. That's okay. She flies so gently you don't even have to hold on. Peppa and Susie took it in turns to fly around the room.
I wish Horsey Twinkletoes was a real unicorn, said Susie. And I wish he was really, really, really sparkly, added Peppa. I think Horsey Twinkletoes is tired, said Daddy Pig. Why don't you build her a den to sleep in? Yay! Cheered Peppa and Susie. While Peppa and Susie were busy building a den in the living room, Daddy Pig gathered some secret supplies for later. Wow, said Daddy Pig, when Peppa and Susie had finished. What a fantastic den. Can we sleep in it tonight, Daddy? Asked Peppa. Please? Of course, said Daddy Pig. If Mammy Sheep says it's okay, you can have a sleepover in the den. Hooray! Hooray! Cheered Peppa and Susie. After dinner, Peppa and Susie got ready for their sleepover. Please, can you read us a bedtime story all about unicorns, Daddy? Asked Peppa. Of course, Daddy Pig replied. When the story was finished, Peppa and Susie snuggled up in their cosy den and fell fast asleep. While Peppa and Susie slept, Daddy Pig picked up Horsey Twinkletoes, tiptoed outside, and quietly set to work painting. And painting some more, then sticking and sticking some more. And then Daddy Pig added the final touch. A horn. Daddy Pig sneaked back to the den to return Horsey Twinkletoes. Ta-da! He whispered. Then he went upstairs and was about to go to sleep when he heard, Wow! Peppa and Susie gasped loudly. They had woken up to find Horsey Twinkletoes had transformed into a magical unicorn. I told you Horsey Twinkletoes was magic, said Peppa. She's perfect, added Susie. The next morning, Peppa, Susie, George, Mammy and Daddy Pig all sat down for breakfast. Peppa told her family what had happened. And when we woke up, Horsey Twinkletoes had turned into a real unicorn, gasped Peppa. It's magic. Said Daddy Pig sleepily. How wonderful, said Mammy Pig. It sounds like you and Susie had the perfect sleepover. Yes, said Peppa, but why does Daddy have paint all over his face? Daddy Pig couldn't answer. He had fallen asleep at the table. After breakfast, Peppa and Susie headed off on a magical adventure with their new unicorn. I love your magical unicorn, cheered Susie. Me too, said Peppa. Everyone loves magical unicorns, especially Daddy Pig. The end.
Peppa at the museum. Peppa and George are helping Grandpa Pig build a pond. We'll start by digging a hole, says Grandpa Pig. Grandpa, asked Peppa, what's that in the mud? She has spotted something buried in the ground. Peppa has found a little teacup. It looks very old. Dinosaur, shouts George. He has found something too. Yes, George, says Peppa. That does look like a dinosaur bone. Grandpa Pig keeps digging. He discovers a gold coin. More buried treasure. Granny Pig comes outside. She is carrying a garden gnome. I bought it for the children, she says. Grandpa Pig does not like gnomes. Do you really think we have found buried treasure? Asked Peppa.
Grandpa Pig drives Peppa and George to the museum. Let's find out, he says. Mr. Rabbit works at the museum. He is in charge of caring for old things. Hello, Mr. Rabbit, says Peppa. We've dug up some treasure. She holds up her teacup. Grandpa Pig gets out his coin. Fine china. Very interesting, says Mr. Rabbit. And a coin too.
Wow.
But George has found the best treasure of all. Mr. Rabbit takes everyone to the dinosaur room. You found a thigh bone, he cries. It fits my dinosaur perfectly. Hooray! Cheers Peppa. Dinosaur! Says George. Thank you for bringing these valuable objects into the museum, says Mr. Rabbit. Valuable, splutters Grandpa Pig. Are they worth something? Mr. Rabbit nods. Oh, yes, they are worth a lot of money. He puts Peppa's teacup and Grandpa Pig's coin in a glass case. Then he locks it up. Mr. Rabbit wants to know if there are any more treasure buried in Grandpa Pig's garden. Mr. Bull is an expert at digging, he says. Mr. Bull makes a very big hole, but he doesn't find much. Same as usual, he says. A load of broken pottery and smashed stuff. Never mind, says Grandpa Pig. You've dug my pond for me. Mr. Rabbit spots Granny Pig's gnome. Now that's a rare treasure. It is very valuable. The gnome should go to the museum, Grandpa Pig decides. Don't worry, Granny, chuckles Peppa. I'll visit with you any time you like. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.